strips of 35 millimeter film simultaneously in one giant Technicolor camera. And I believe Jack Cardiff, who was a Technicolor cinematographer from Great Britain, referred to it as the Enchanted Cottage because it was so big, the camera was. So one strip of film was exposed to a red lens. One strip of film was exposed to a green lens. One strip of film was exposed to a blue lens. They had dyes, cyan dye, yellow dye, magenta dye. They were incredibly vibrant dyes. They used things such as, I think they used chlorophyll, they used clam juice, they used pig blood, different things, very toxic metal-based dyes. And then they would dye these 35 millimeter film strips in their complementary colors. So let's see. The red strip of film was dyed in cyan, I think. Yeah, cyan. The blue strip of film was dyed in yellow. And the green strip of film was dyed in magenta. Mm-hmm. Now, somebody can write in and tell me if I'm wrong. But anyway, when they line those three strips of film up, they burst into glorious Technicolor. And it's all part of the additive color spectrum, which we learned about in our lighting class in theater. So anyway, that was three-strip Technicolor, and that eventually caught on until 1953 when CinemaScope came along, and then they found out the Eastman Color Company came up with a color that was all on one piece of film. It was called monopack color, which was not as vibrant as Technicolor, and cinematographers hated it, having to move from Technicolor to a more ruddy monopack color. But that was three-strip Technicolor, and that is the making and the legend of Robin Hood. But do you have any closing thoughts, Garrett?
It's just, I think I would say if you haven't watched this movie, you should, because it's obviously a cornerstone of American filmmaking. There's a lot to it that's interesting to dive into, but it's also just a good movie. It's a good film, and it's fun to watch, and it translates to today pretty easily. There are some movies that you watch and they kind of drag on, and you're like, man, and this movie's not like that, It moves pretty quick. Yeah, it was a joy to watch and kind of look more into it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. It's kind of comparable to like the Marvel movies today, the adventure flicks.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and it's in all the best ways. Like, it's just, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's well acted, it's well produced, and it's got charm because of the time it came, it was made.
Yeah, it's got wonderful charm. I mean, like with any film we talk about, always get ready for a different kind of style of acting at times. The music's going to sound different. The costumes are going to look different. The color is usually going to be glorious, but it's going to look a little bit different. Anyway, Garrett, I had so much fun today talking with you about the adventures of Robin Hood. Before we sign off, I need to remind everybody, go watch a film on TCM, go to the Criterion channel on Stream a Classic Movie, go to HBO Max, or just show some love to like a boutique label that is restoring these classic films and putting them out on Blu-ray, such as Warner Archive or Kino Lorber or Twilight Time, any of those labels. Now, if you've listened today and you hear a fact that that you think is not completely correct, or if there's a fact that you would like to add to our conversation today, or if you have a classic film that you love and that you would like us to cover, feel free to write in to the Hollywood Babylonians at gmail.com. That's the Hollywood, BABYLONIANS at gmail.com, and tell us why you love that movie, why you would like us to cover it. Now, always be kind when writing in. We all cry very easily, and it's not great to hear us cry on our podcast. But go follow us on Instagram at the Hollywood Babylonians. Go follow us on TikTok at the Hollywood Babylonians. We are on YouTube as the Hollywood Babylonians. And be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, because those things really do help. Be sure to cinematically scintillate and go out and watch a new classic film. Until next time, this is
Garrett McPherson
and Ben Burke. Thank you for listening to the Hollywood Babylonians. You have been listening to the Hollywood Babylonians. The Hollywood Babylonians is produced, edited, and written by Ben Burke and co-hosted by Garrett McPherson. Research by Ben Burke. Artwork by Ben Burke and Jamie Lee. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more Hollywood Babylonians content. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Tune in next week as we explore another classic film out of the golden age of Hollywood and the history behind it. Have a good night.